Joined by the founder of the channel, Mr. Herman Manyora. My name is Simon Irungu, and this is the big question. And the year has started on a high note, Professor. I can see you're very energetic today.
Very energetic.
It's not like the
Full
other
of
days.
vibes.
You know, sometimes you're
Yes.
down, but as the shows goes by,
I pick up.
you just pick up.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so today's question, Professor, I'm going to be asking, how do you interpret the approach of OKA come the election 2022?
Well, if you ask me sincerely, and if I sat down with them over a cup of tea, as a brother, I will tell them, the thing is already decided. The die is cast. The game is between Ruto and Raila. Anything in between is nothing really, childish.
Is there something that they can do to change the odds? Because we can see the
To be in their favor?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing.
They,
Except for some kind of miracle.
we can see that they have accumulated a few numbers here and there. What do you say
You
about
know, some people have benefited in politics and indeed even other areas where an accident happens. So if they are waiting for an accident, the accidents do happen. But to intelligently wait for an accident is to be foolish, to say the least.
that? And is there slightest chance of an accident?
Accidents you can never predict, but they do happen. So if they are waiting for an accident, but if they are really scheming, planning, strategizing, making moves to become president, they are just jokers.
And yesterday on national television, we saw Kalonzo Musyoka saying that they are not joining any political coalition and they are going for it head on. What do you interpret from this?
They have said this all the time, and all the time they have supported somebody else. And it is nothing. It happens like that everywhere. Yes.
Okay, and
Even George Bush Sr., while running against the man to become president, Ronald Reagan, he talks of Bordeaux economics. He talks very negatively about Ronald Reagan, but he later became his running mate. So it happens everywhere. You can disparage your opponent, but tomorrow you work together.
okay,
You can say, I will never work with Raila, but tomorrow you find you are with him. So
it's politics.
like Churchill said, politicians are people who never get constipation from eating their words. Yeah.
Okay, and we can see Ruto trying to admit in Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi into UDA. What do you say? What can you say about this?
I think that is obviously, first of all, it is an indication that the stability of OKA is quite questionable. They have lived longer than I expected them to live. But I don't think they have much longer to wait. We have much longer to wait before we see them go down. But it also indicates that Ruto himself is also relaxing a bit on his firm stand, on the hard stand about UDA being a national party. What I also do know is Musalia Mudavadi working with Ruto, and I've said this many times, it will look awkward. Everybody looking at that thing will see this is a bitter man who is simply acting out of anger. Because Raila has refused to support me, because Uhuru has refused to support me. If I'm not getting their support, they are also not getting. Let somebody else get. Let Ruto get.
Okay, and
that's how it will be viewed.
On a show with Jadiel, you said that right now Raila and Ruto are working on a 50-50 platform.
Yes.
Okay, and we're seeing Ruto receiving support from the Western region. Yes. You see, Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi can bring in the numbers from there.
Yes.
Can this maybe make a difference, pushing Ruto to 50, maybe 50 point something, and bringing Raila?
Politics is a game. When you make a move, it brings, but it also subtract.
Okay.
Let's start with the most obvious, which people talk about. If you give Mudavadi running mate and you are Ruto, what damage does that do to your Mount Kenya vote? You see, you add, you subtract. So finally, ile sabu utabaki nayo ndio itaamua utafika wapi. So I think Mudavadi will be more of a liability to Ruto than an asset. Because he will first of all admit him in. And if Mudavadi agrees I'm going in, and there is no pact as to what position he will get, two things. One, he will be seen to be a spoiler. Spoiling for Raila, number one. Number two, it will send panic in the Ruto camp in the mountain. This guy has come into UDA. What position can he get? And the people from the Uhuru side will go into overdrive. selling the narrative that now you see, this is the man you are trusting, that he'll work. Now he has brought Mudavadi here.
Okay.
He'll be the biggest beneficiary of his government. So it is not easy the way you think. Some people are looking at it in a very simplistic way, that Mudavadi goes there, then he carries Western votes. But I'm telling you, in terms of how will it be perceived as a spoiler, and secondly, it will also affect the Mount Kenya camp.
And are they no longer the Western kingpins?
They are not quite. No, in a way, not quite. If you saw Bukungu too, it was an indicator. And recently, I think 2, 3, 4 days, you saw Raila also in Lugari. And what transpired there, the people who spoke there, the narratives, the story from the old man, Brud Nabwera, you know, it captures what is going on the ground. Some people may think it's just Atwoli and Bukungu. No, I come from Western, and I know that Mudavadi is the undisputed king of the region. But he has not exploited that position. He has not effectively occupied the position. For that reason, the extent to which he carries the Western Kenya is quite doubtful. So Oparanya commands more votes than Mudavadi.
Okay, now that you've mentioned something to do with Western, there seems to be an interest. Many aspirants are going there to seek for votes. Why are people heading there?
Again, for the same reason.
Okay.
Why are people heading to the mountain? People are heading to the mountain not just because there are many votes. Of course, the mountain has many votes. But don't forget, the Luya are the second most populous people. So they also have the votes. And that alone will take people to mountain, take people to Western. But it is because the mountain doesn't, or so far, doesn't have a presidential candidate. Okay. In a manner in which Kibaki Uhuru are there. That's why people are heading there. They feel it is a vacuum. It's a vacuum there. For the same reason that I've said, Mudavadi doesn't seem to be effectively in charge of the region, and therefore it is perceived
it's a vacuum.
Western doesn't have a presidential candidate.
Okay.
And that's why everybody is trooping there. If we had effectively occupied, people will not be having a field day in Western. They will know it's a waste of time. They will just go the way people go for the sake of it. But the way in which Ruto is going, the way in which Raila is going, tells you the story that everybody sees that there's nobody, no serious presidential candidate from the region. Not Wetangula, not Mudavadi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was looking at an interview on a national television, I think it was KTN, and the political analyst there was saying that right now Raila is ignoring the fact that he needs OKA. Is that true? And if he is doing that, what should he do?
You see, Raila may not be ignoring. First of all, Raila may be aware of the game. And he may be aware that in the fullness of time they will come to Azimio. And basically these guys are in an awkward position. I don't see them going anywhere. They can't remain where they are. They will spoil their name beyond repair. If you are Mudavadi and you stand and get 200,000 votes, you will spoil your name beyond repair. But they can't go to Ruto. They'll simply go to Azimio. So maybe Raila knows that. Secondly, Raila is able to ignore them and work with other politicians from the region. Okay. You know, if you leave Mudavadi and Wetangula, and you have Eugene, you have Atwoli, you have Oparanya, you are doing well. Okay. If you ignore Kalonzo, you have Ngilu, you have Mutua, you have Professor Kibuda Kibwana. You are not doing badly. That's again another strategy.
Okay. Let's say OKA doesn't join Raila. Are they going to bring in damage?
I doubt.
What if they decide to bring damage to Raila?
The best damage they could come up with is if they remained one and fielded Kalonzo Musyoka.
And right now they don't seem to be
It's quite unlikely. If OKA remained one and fielded Kalonzo Musyoka as the presidential candidate, running mate Musalia Mudavadi. Okay. That could injure Raila in a way because they could get more than 1 million votes that could have gone to Raila. Okay. Yeah, because the perception will be they have the potential of winning. Okay. It's only when people perceive you as a potential winner, that's the only time they can vote for you. Okay. But if you stood alone as Kalonzo, as Mudavadi, people know you are going nowhere. They know you are a joker, so they won't vote for you.
Okay, let me rephrase what you have said. And you said that they take in Kalonzo Musyoka as their president, yes, and Mudavadi as their vice president, yes, as the running mate. Yes. Okay, won't other principals feel that maybe they need the deputy position?
You see, Mudavadi occupying a position means the Luya are occupying that position.
Okay.
So Wetangula is likely to play along.
Okay.
If Gideon were to remain, it means he does not believe in the Uhuru Raila game,
Okay.
which is unlikely. That's why I'm saying, whichever way I look at this Oka thing, I see it going nowhere.
Okay.
But again, I could be wrong. You see, I'm not a person who predicts. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a muganga. I'm reading the situation and thinking, I don't see anywhere. I think until I hear I feel my head is cracking.
You're just predicting.
I'm trying, not even predicting, I'm just analyzing and say, under what arrangement can Oka remain? Where are the numbers to make Oka a serious outfit? I'm not looking, I'm not seeing the numbers. I mean, they're just not there. Where are the numbers? If Mudavadi were to stand alone, where are the numbers? Even if we went to Ruto, what numbers will he take there? In fact, let me tell you, if Mudavadi goes to Ruto, he will have left Raila all the votes in Western. I'm telling you, all of them.
How?
That's what I hear people saying. Let's say there are 2 million votes.
Yeah.
So far it's 2.1, 2.2. Western. If you add it to Anzoa, let's just say Western. 2.1, 2.2. Maybe this January there will be more registration. People will be more serious. Let's say we get 2.4. Let's say 2 million turnout to vote. Let's say, 1.8 turnout to vote. If Mudavadi joins Ruto, out of the 1.8 million, let me tell you, Raila will get 1.5.
Okay. He'll get more, he's guaranteed to get more votes.
1.5, 1.6, leaving 2 million for Ruto. Still is good for Raila.
Okay. And on your show, on the yesterday's show with Jadiel Kabira, you mentioned something to do with generational change.
Yes.
And we see that now let's move away from Oka a little bit and go to Ruto.
Yes.
And Ruto seems to be the guy who's working with the young people, the likes of Nyoron Dindi.
Yes.
And Raila is accommodating the people who have been there. You mentioned from 2002.
Yes.
What can you say about this?
You see, generation change doesn't mean per se that we are dealing with young people.
Okay.
We are dealing with a caliber of people. The politicians who are on the scene now.
Okay.
They will have to give way. You look at this way. Just look at 2022 parliament. Look at 2027 parliament. The new faces will amaze you.
People who have not been there before.
You've not heard about them. Including government, including ministers. It's like what Uhuru did in 2013. There are going to be new faces in Kenyan politics. New. In parliament, you'll be surprised the people will be in parliament. And the generations change also means the way of doing things. The way of doing our politics is going to change so fundamentally that all the players will find themselves out of place.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm getting.
I work at the university.
Yeah.
In the past, people have been retiring and getting contracts until they die when they are there. Of course, they have stopped those contracts almost in a very serious way. But they need not even have done that. The changes I'm seeing where I work today, the changes I'm seeing even in Nairobi, an old person will find himself unable to stay in this city. Please, take that from me. People of my age will soon find they can't even operate in Nairobi. First of all, you can't even drive yourself, not because of age. Nairobi is even becoming too complicated to drive.
Okay.
For I say, the way of working in the offices, the new systems that people are using to work.
Things are changing.
People will not be asked to retire. People of my age, they will not be asked to go home. They will just go home. They will leave work. They will retire comfortably, willingly, peacefully. And they will not even stay in Nairobi, even if you have a house in Nairobi. You will not even fit in Nairobi here. People simply go to the village.
Okay.
That's the kind of change I'm talking about in politics.
Okay.
Politics is going to be played in such a way that those who have been in the political arena will find it so strange, so difficult, so strenuous, so difficult. Even being in the parliament itself, the kind of things that are going on in parliament. You see, when they introduce these voting machines and what have you, electronic, you see what the young people, they are fumbling with gadgets.
Okay.
That is the change I'm talking about. It will sweep many people off the feet.
Okay.
And that generation change does not really mean young people.
Young people.
It means a new way of doing things that does not favor those who have been around.
Okay.
And the new people are coming in with new styles of doing things, new ways of looking. And the world is changing. The world is changing in such a way. If you think politics will be played the way we have been playing it, you are in the wrong place, and you'll soon discover in 2027, even if you are made an MP, 1 year and you feel you don't even want to continue, you just go back home.
Okay, lastly, just to mention something on Raila, there are claims that he's working with people with people who are retiring from maybe former governors and everything, and Ruto is working with people who are aspiring and people who have been there maybe for one term or something.
Yes.
Between the two people, who is likely maybe to help push the agenda for
What you
presidential
need to
seat?
ask yourself,
Okay.
how is politics played in this country so far?
Okay.
We are moving to some change, but before we get to that change, politics in Kenya is heavily tribal, heavily regional,
Yeah.
based on big names, on big families. Before you move from that, and my argument is we have not moved from that. We need to, and we shall, and we have no choice. But for now, that's not the time.
And
So
this year
the
might-
person who plays politics this year,
Yeah.
in the way it has been played in the past, will emerge the victor.
So this year's election should be played by the former
The tribal kingpins, as we face them out, we will face them out in 2027. You will not see them. They will
Okay.
not be there.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining us here at the channel. Well, that has been the conversation. Till we have this conversation again, my name is Simon Irungo.